goes around yard meter like around 5 times, but this video was taken by a cell phone, so it couldn't like go longer than like a minute.
Are you controlling it with a remote control, or is it just going by itself?
No, it's just going by itself. Right now we have some technical difficulties with it, so you can like, I'm going to pass it around for each of you to see it.
Did you put it on display in the science fair like that?
Yeah.
So cute.
We had to make like a first robot, kind of like a first draft, but that first one didn't work well because like as you see over here we had trials. We have trial number 1 and trial number 2. So like in trial number 1, the robot didn't move at all because the battery wasn't attached, and it didn't look like the butterfly that we chose, which is the red spotted purple. So this was the first trial, and it didn't turn out that well. So we made a second one, and I think trial number 1 was, I think it was this one. It didn't move like at all. And then this one it moved 2 meters and more. So
How do you propel it? What's the motor do?
it's like a pager motor, the thing that like makes phones vibrate.
So what makes it move though? Just a vibration? Yeah. So it just kind of goes like, oh yeah. Oh, it's so cool. So it just goes along the, what is it?
It has to have tape on it to hold it.
And then it just kind of goes like that. So
Yeah, and then it goes sand.
Yeah. So you have it on a track kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. What's the track made of? Is it like tape? The track that was going along, yeah, what was it?
It was
a yard meter.
Yeah,
Oh,
a yard meter.
Clever. Very clever.
I think science is important, like medically, and it has to do with like the army or the rescue squad or team or whatever, because for like medical reasons, if someone has a disease or is sick or something, they may need to take medicine, so science is what makes the medicine. That's what they use science for. And like for the army, they can they're trying to make robots now to like spy on their like enemies and stuff like that. And for the rescue squad, during like disasters like tornadoes and hurricanes, they try to save people out of buildings that are buried in a broken building. So they need a robot to go in there before the workers, so it can be less dangerous. And that's what they're trying to create right now in Harvard, which is the place where I presented my science fair. My more school goal is for this subject is to be a critical thinker, because in science it's one of my favorite subjects, so I do ask a lot of questions, and in order to like work on physics and how it was easy for me is because I asked a lot of questions and I tried hard in it, and now it's part of my portfolio because of what the good job I did on it. And yeah. Now we're gonna move on to art. I'm just gonna show you some things that I did in art. This was like, I don't remember this assignment very well, but it was like to make an inanimate object real and have features. So yeah, and then this one was, we had plexiglass, a piece of plexiglass, and we rolled ink on it. So I rolled pink ink on it, and I had to cut out shapes. So I cut out an N out of a piece of paper, and I put it over the glass, like over the glass. So I rubbed off the paint onto this piece of paper, so the white kind of like took out the rest of the paint, so that worked. This one was to make like just like something that could not possibly be real, and like draw it. So I put like SpongeBob, the Doodle Bob, and I drew a lamp coughing dust and the big queen jellyfish in SpongeBob. And you had to make a crazy story. about it, and they're on top of a tree. And this one was, we had square like piece of, it was like rubber, and we had to cut out a different layer each art class, and we would always like paint, like put ink over it and then stamp it down on a piece of paper so we could make layers. So like over here, like you see these white lines, they like first, before I cut out these white lines, I didn't cut them out first, so it was like I stamped it on there before I cut out the lines, and then after that I cut out the lines, and then I used purple ink instead. So then I put it on top of this, so that made the lines show, because there was no longer like any flat surface in that area, so it's a different color, and that's what made it look like that. You guys have any questions?
What about, you mean about all the art, about everything?
Yeah, and like my future like goal for me is like to become a pediatrician, a doctor, and I wanted to go to Harvard Medical School. And my plan for high school was to, the first 2 years, to go slow and like work on things easily so that I can catch up. And then the next 2 years I was gonna apply for scholarships to go to Harvard Medical School, and I was gonna like join the program where I think I was told about it, where you can learn college courses while you're in high school, and that would give you some credit, like 1 year of college you don't have to go to when you graduate. So I was gonna do that, and I wanna go to Egypt again. That's another thing that I wanna do in the future, is to go to Egypt and meet my family. And yeah.
I just had a question about your, why was it that you picked the books that you did to write on certain genre? What appealed to you about
I picked them because you had to choose one genre, and they were all nonfiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked those 3 books and their stories, so I chose them. And because they're
Anything in
kind of all
particular that
connected.
struck you about them? You just liked them?
Yeah, I really liked them.
Just had another question for high school. Anything particular that you want to concentrate? You said science, pretty much, or you just gonna wait and see?
Like in high school, I wanted, because something that would help me get a scholarship would be doing sports or an extracurricular activity. So I was planning on doing tennis or volleyball.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Great. Any questions?
I had a couple questions for you. Well, one, just to connect it to our 7th grade girls over there, is there any advice that you would give them, or is there anything that you would change about how you prepared for this portfolio process?
I think you should start once you get the assignment to do the portfolio, because in the last week to do it, it's not going to be that easy, because I finished like all of my subjects the week before, and I still had a lot to do in the last week after I finished all of it. And it's really hard to put together. So you have to stay after with your teachers and ask them any questions on what they think is better for you to do. And you have to like look over the things that you worked for portfolio and show them what you did, and ask them if they have anything else you should change.
Is there any other questions? Is it time for anybody to ask any clarifying questions, or?
Oh, I just have one. Where did you get the idea to make this particular type of robot?
It was an original assignment for the science fair. You had to make a robot, and it had to be on an insect. So